Hey, what's up guys? My name is Dev. This is my 2018 Toyota Tacoma, and today we're going to be doing an updated build walk around on my full truck build, everything I've done. It's been a long time since I've gone over the truck in one full video, and the last one that I posted on YouTube definitely was not the best quality, and I can't say that I'm the most proud of that video, so I want to give you an updated one. A lot of things have changed on the truck since that video has come out. I've been putting off making this video as I've been piecing together the final things that I want to do to my truck, but I think it's time that we just make this updated video. We'll go over everything that I've done, all the specs, everything, and hopefully I can give you guys some inspiration on your truck. And if you guys have any questions about the truck or questions about things I've done to the truck, just go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. First things first, I think we start off with some basics. Like I said, this is a 2018 Toyota Tacoma. This truck is an SR5 trim level. Yeah, it's kind of a lower trim level compared to what most people will build. I did that intentionally. I knew that I was gonna drop a bunch of money into this truck. Yes, I probably could have waited and found a better deal and maybe got like a TRD Sport with factory leather or a TRD Off-Road with a rear locker, but I'm really happy with my purchase. At the time, I got a pretty good deal on it back in peak used car market. I've owned this truck since 2022, almost exactly 3 years ago. So I've had this truck for 3 years. I bought it with 63,000 miles on it, and it was a 2018, so I kind of had a little bit higher miles. Now I just hit 90,000 miles like 2 weeks ago, and I rarely drive this truck now, so it's probably only gotten 2,000 miles this entire year of 2025. So the miles are definitely gonna stay pretty low. So as you can see, this truck is a double cab short bed. It's got the 5-foot bed. The color of this truck is definitely what gets the most attention, right? That's why I've come to love this truck so much. I've had many opportunities to buy new Tacomas, but this truck is called Inferno Orange. This is a 2015 TRD Pro color. It came on the 2nd gen, and then it carried over into the 3rd gens for 2016, 17, and 18, and this is an 18, so that's the last year that you could possibly get this color in, and I think it's my favorite part about this truck now. I think my most asked question is about my wheels and tires, so we're just gonna knock that out first. I know that's what most of you guys are curious about. So these wheels are Stealth Custom Series F5s. They are in the gunmetal color with their silver stickers, and these are 16x8 with a -25 offset. These wheels are wrapped in a Nitto Trail Grappler. These are a 315 75 16 tire, so they're equivalent to a 35-inch tire. These are an E-load, so they're the strongest tire that you could possibly buy. I love these MTs. I've been through a lot of different tires, and this is by far my favorite tire that I've ever ran on this truck. I love these tires. They're super quiet on the road. I can do 80 miles an hour. I mean, you're still gonna get some tire noise, right? I have trim fenders and stuff, which we'll get into, so you are gonna get some noise, but they are significantly quieter than like the Yokohama Geolanders that I had previously. And so I love them. I think they look great. Sidewall's super clean looking, and I just think the tread pattern, everything about them, I really like these. So with the -25 offset that I have on these wheels, I also have a 1-inch wheel spacer from KSP Auto. So that's why you have this really aggressive stance. I'm the first one to admit, I add the spacer because I do like that stance. Some people don't want to deal with the rubbing. That's your choice. But again, for me, I really like the aggressive look. I used to run 1.25 inch, and then I went down to 1 inch just for a little bit more of a mature stance. Convert the inch to millimeters. I believe my truck is now sitting at like -50 offset with the -25 and the 1 inch. And to me, it's the perfect setup. I think it looks so good. While we're here, I think we talk about the front suspension. My front suspension definitely gets a lot of attention because of those bright blue King 2.5s that you see in there. So those are the King 2.5 extended travel coilovers. These are just an OEM replacement, so they use the factory shock mounts, and then they come with the reservoir mounts and everything. I'm sure you guys have seen them, but yeah, King 2.5 extended travels. For the upper control arms, I'm running the Camberg Uniball upper control arms. I love these. I previously had SBC control arms. I was not the biggest fan. They rode terrible off-road. On-road, I had some crazy sway on the freeway. I think it's because they allow you to get so much front caster. If you've ever driven your truck with anything above like 3.5 degrees of front caster, it gets very miserable on the freeway. So super stoked with these. They ride great. I keep them greased so they don't squeak or anything. Amazing product. Huge fan of Camberg as a whole company. Jerry, the owner, I've become good friends with his son, Zach. So I'm super stoked with this. I think an ultimate goal of mine would be to run a Camberg +2 long travel kit on this truck. So who knows, maybe that'll happen in the future. But yeah, I love my Camberg arms. Best purchase I've made. Right below the camber arms, I have the Total Chaos spindle gussets. These were welded on by my buddy Ryan at Agility Customs. He does incredible work. I'll insert a picture here. These are kind of hard to see, but here's a picture of what they look like on the truck. I'm big on not cutting corners. I really try to do things right the first time. So dialing in a setup that felt safe and strong enough for these 35s was a big deal to me. So I got those spindle gussets on right away. I actually had those on well before I even did 35s because I just wanted to make sure that my truck was dialed. This one's a little bit hard for me to show you, but I do have the Wheeler Super Bumps. They're just a rubber extended OEM replacement, and they just thread right into where the OEM bump stops go. The OEM bump stops, if you know what they look like, it's literally like a hockey puck. If you hit them, your whole truck rattles. It was terrible. The ride quality was terrible. I believe these are a polyurethane and they ride so much better. There's not really much to say about these Wheeler Super Bumps. All I can say is once you put them in, you will see how worth it they are. The ride quality that you gain is just unbelievable. So yeah. Next thing on my suspension setup is I have the Dialed Designs tie rod sleeves. This is another one of those preventative strength mods that you want to add if you are going to do 35s or even any tire, I think, on your truck. It's just a big deal. They thread right on. They make your tie rod a lot stronger than OEM. It allows it so that the tie rod cannot bend and break away. Moving back to the rear suspension of my truck, this setup is basic. I'm very big on less is more. You'll see that throughout my whole truck. The whole purpose of my build is less is more. So as we move back to this rear suspension, this setup is pretty simple and it just works. For rear shocks, I'm running the King 2.5s just like the front. These are just an OEM replacement. They have the reservoirs, so it keeps the fluid nice and cool. It's a great mod. The ride quality from these compared to my previous Old Man Emu suspension that I was running is night and day difference. Leaf spring, I'm currently running the Old Man Emu medium duty. I actually really like these leaves. I think they work really well. The only complaint that I have is they're really, really squeaky. I've been recently talking to Eric at Archive Garage and he just released his light duty springs, and so I'm hoping in the near future I'm gonna swap over to those and we'll do a hammer hanger kit with a crossbar and we'll dial in this rear setup a little bit more than it is. But for now, for what I use my truck for, it works great, and honestly it's pretty budget friendly for how much I've spent on the rear setup. I'm trying to keep this video nice and short, but it's very important for me to go over all these things. So I wanna talk about what it took and the proper way to run 35s on my truck. So starting off with clearance in the front, I have a all-pro off-road cab mount relocation kit. That was also welded on by my buddy Ryan at Agility Customs. You have to do a cab mount relocation. That's the only way that you're gonna clear these tires. I still do rub a little bit on this setup, but it's super manageable. If I'm going forward, I have full lock, but if I do reverse, I do rub a little bit anyway. So next thing is I also had my pinch weld flattened. I also just had Ryan do that while he was doing my cab mount relocation. If you don't get that pinch weld out of the way, it'll just eat up your tires. It'll take huge chunks out of it, so that's a must-have. The most noticeable thing that you'll see as far as clearance goes is I've done a full 2-inch fender trim. I did this myself. A lot of people get scared about it. It really wasn't that bad. So I took about 2 inches off of the metal fender, and then I took about 1 3/4 inches off of the flares. And I did that for the same on the front and rear, so they match perfectly. You cannot run 35s and fully flex out your truck unless you're gonna trim your fenders. I'm already super close in the rear. I have like less than 1/4 inch before I hit my fender. Right now where I have my fenders trimmed is like perfect, but I have no wiggle room at all. So I am super close to hitting them, but it works for me and I haven't had any issues. Next thing is when you trim your fenders, you have to remove your OEM fender liners. That's a huge deal because when you remove your fender liner, on your passenger side right here is your intake. So if you have nothing in there, you just have an open intake hole. There's a lot of guys that don't do anything about covering that, and they'll hydrolock their engine. They'll suck dirt, sand, water, anything into your intake. So it's a really, really big deal to figure out a way that you're gonna cover this. There's a couple great companies. My personal favorite is Scorch Fabrication. John hand makes these in California. They're these aluminum fender liner placements. They're high clearance. They are meant for the people who trim their fenders. He is an enthusiast. He makes these for us that want to modify our trucks. They are a little bit expensive if you're looking at it for what you're getting, but it's a preventative thing. You're protecting your truck. You're doing it right. It's the way to go. I could not recommend them enough. He also makes a high clearance fender liner kit for the rear of these Tacomas. He's the only one on the market that does that. That alone speaks for itself. Technically, you do not need the fender liners in the rear. You don't have an intake or anything, but I'm telling you, if you are gonna fill your truck up with mud, it is so nice to have a fender liner. Like I said, I'm big on doing things right. I don't like to skip any corners, so I wanna make sure that everything that I do to my truck is perfect and exactly how I want it to be done. And he makes a great product. I love supporting him. You should check out his Instagram if you're looking for that. You can go support other big companies like C4, and then you can wait 20 weeks or whatever it is to get your fender liner kit. But I'm big on supporting a smaller business like John at Scorch Fab, and he makes a perfect product. I seriously wouldn't promote it if I didn't like it. Next thing, I am re-geared. I originally put these 35s on and I went probably 2 or 3 months without gears. Honestly, if you're just driving city, it really isn't that bad. Your truck isn't gonna feel that much different. These Tacomas are already slow, so you get used to driving them. But if you do any highway driving at all, you have to re-gear your truck. These things scream on stock gears, but now I did 529s. I have Yukon gears in this, they're 529s. Again, Ryan at Agility Customs, he does all my work like that. He did them here in West Jordan, amazing work. That was the biggest change. It is a night and day difference. I could not recommend re-gearing your truck enough. All right, enough with all the mechanical stuff. Let's talk about what everybody loves, and that's lights. We all love lights, right? Starting off on the headlights, I have the Alpha Rex Nova series. These are in the Alpha Black color. I had these for almost 1.5 years now. I love this. It changed the whole look of my truck. I had some really cheap eBay headlights. I hated them. Investing in nice quality headlights is a big deal to me. I really like high quality products, and this fit my need. These are awesome. I love the startup sequence, the DRL, everything about it. You can switch it between white DRL and amber DRL. Super cool, I do it all the time. So yeah, can't recommend these enough. If you're looking to pick up a set of headlights, I got these from Square One Off-Road. My buddy Austin runs that place. Amazing service. These shipped to me in less than 24 hours. They were at my doorstep. Moving right below the headlights, I have these Dow Dynamics SS3 Sport fog lights. These are so bright for being sports. I cannot run these on the road. I can, but I really don't want to be annoying and blind other people. So I try to keep them off as much as I can, unless the road is like super dark and I can't see because of how dark my window tint is. But yeah, these are rad. They work really good off-road. I love how these things look. They fill the pocket really well. So yeah, great product there. So for ditch lights, I'm also running the Dow Dynamics SS3 Sports. These are in the combo lens, and then I just have some Cali raised low profile brackets on them. The Sport for the ditch lights, I feel like is not nearly as bright as the fog lights are. I'm not exactly sure why it's like that. Maybe it has something to do with the combo lens, but I think if I were to do it again, I would either do the Pros or the Maxes for the ditch lights, just because I feel like I don't get as much light output as I'm looking for with those. Behind my grill, it's really hard to see, but I'll turn them on for you. I have 2 Dow Dynamics 30-inch light bars. I have a full YouTube video on these light bars on my channel, but the top one is white and then the bottom one is their yellow color too. Those are mounted with an SDHQ bracket, and it's super cool. It goes with my whole like OEM Plus look. You can't really tell that they're there, but then when I turn them on, it's like you're gonna meet heaven. So I really like that setup. It's super cool and unique. I don't see it very often. On each fender well, I have 2 rock lights. They're from CZ Mods. They're like the 108 diode ones. They are so bright. This thing is like a UFO at night. I'll go ahead and insert a picture of what they look like when they're on, but I love the rock lights. It's super nice camping. I'll turn them on whenever we're hanging out at night, and you can see around the full truck. It's really nice just to set up or cook if it's dark, and I also just love having them on. I love how they look. It's not for everybody, but I really like it, so that's all that matters to me. So the last piece of lighting that I have is these taillights. These are the brand new Alpha Rex Nova series taillights. I also have a full video on my channel if you want to see a little bit more in depth. These are in the Alpha Black color to match the headlights. These are so rad. They look like 4th gen taillights. I like these so much more than the old Lux series that I used to have. They're significantly brighter, and this whole bottom section is a reverse light. 10 out of 10 product. I've yet to see somebody else running these, at least here in Utah. So I really like that. Everybody runs the Lux series, so they're a little bit more unique, at least for the time being, but I really like them. Something new, something different compared to what you see every day. So again, going into the whole OEM Plus style that I go for, I have stock front bumper, stock rear bumper, everything. That might change. I have interest in doing a high clearance rear bumper, but for now, I'm just running stock bumpers. As far as armor goes, I'm running the RCI Off-Road engine skid plate and the transmission skid plate. Both of those are in raw aluminum. I love how the silver looks. It's like a nice pop of color underneath there, and I think the raw aluminum looks really classy and almost like expensive under the truck. You get the truck from the front, like down low on a trail, it looks super aggressive having that nice silver skid plate, and they work really well. I do not wheel my truck hard enough to the point that I would need steel skid plates. I think shaving a little bit of weight and going with the aluminum was perfect for what I use my truck for. RCI makes great products that are steel that will withstand a little bit more of a beating, but for me, these work perfectly. Moving on to the other most crucial piece of armor that I think you need on your truck is a nice set of rock sliders. These are bolt-on rock sliders from Body Armor 4x4. I think for the price, you can't beat these. The 25-degree angle and the little kick out for the tree saver it's amazing. The powder coat, everything about them, great product. Moving on to the back of my truck. I'm actually really proud of this setup. It took a lot of thinking and planning to make everything fit how I wanted for what I use my truck for. So I just recently posted a video, if you guys saw. This is a brand new tailgate panel that I got from Snail Armor. My guy Jimmy me there, made a custom one for me. I made a full video talking about it if you want to check that out. It's got a cool mountain design. I love these. It's nice and flat. It doesn't hurt when you jump into your truck. You see I got footprints on it. I use this all the time getting in and out. So yeah, these tailgate panels are awesome. I think everybody needs one. The OEM one sucks and it hurts so bad. Moving on, I have a 3-ton Badland jack mounted in the back of my truck. This is mounted using the 911 Motorsports mounts. These just drill through your bed with nuts and bolts. Perfect setup for what I was looking for. There are a bunch of different mounting setups that you can find on Etsy and stuff, but I'm not spending $300 for a piece of metal that will mount my jack in the back of my bed. These are like 60 bucks for these 2 mounts. Super easy, cost effective, and it works really well. You just use a ratchet strap and it is not going anywhere. It's so nice. And then as you can see, I have a full 35-inch spare in the back. I'm using the factory 16-inch wheel, and then I just threw another Nitto trail grappler on there, also in a 315 75/16. Really important to have a full-size spare. 35s don't fit underneath, so I had to remove and delete the factory spare, and then I just took the wheel and put a 35-inch on it. I'm using a Dirt King 3-way tire strap on there. I actually copied my buddy Mike Goes Pro. He made a great video about using this setup and I just copied it. I had to kind of shift the tire off to the left a little bit so the jack could fit, but it works perfectly. I'm able to stack all my camping gear. Everything just fits. And then for some added strength, I just have some bed stiffeners. These are actually from Amazon. These are a must-have if you're gonna run a bed rack with a tent or anything. Last year I had a tent on my truck for a buddy of mine and we used it for some promo stuff. So I added these just for a precautionary thing, and now I just keep them in there because they're not hurting anything. But yeah, they're just cheap from Amazon, powder coated, they work. There are really expensive options, but again, for the money, these are like 50 bucks and they work great. If you follow me on Instagram or see any of my other content, I do have a soft topper, a black canvas soft topper that I'll run. I switch off my bed setup a ton. So when I'm camping, I run the soft topper so I can fit all my gear in there. I love Soft Topper as a company. They make amazing products. I don't run it full time just because I like the look of nothing on my truck just as much as I like the look as a soft topper. So I switch things up all the time. I also have a hard tonneau cover from Most Plus Auto. They sent that out to me. Great quality. I actually have the rails on it right now, so I could just throw it on if I wanted to, if I was going on a trip. But I really like the look of nothing on my truck as well. So if you follow my content, you will see a lot of renditions of whatever I have going on the back of my truck. I just do what works for me and the situations that I'm going into. Right here on the back of my truck, it's kind of hard to see, but I actually get a lot of questions about this. This is a Cali Rays universal taillight mount. It just sticks out and you can mount things to it. And I just mounted a 5150 daytime whip here. So this is just a magnetic mount. You pull this cap off and the flag sticks right in. I use this on the trails. I think it looks cool. It's also nice so people can see above your truck and know that you're coming. But yeah, that's what this thing is. Some people mount chase lights or whatever they choose to mount there. But yeah, that's what I chose to do here. So while we're still here on the outside of my truck, as you can see, my truck is spotless. It always is spotless. I feel like everybody always asks me, why is your truck so clean? How is your truck so clean? If you watch some of my other content, I am a detailer. This is what I do. I really like taking care of my stuff. It has some pinstripes from some trails, but no, I do not beat on my truck. That's just what it is. I take care of my stuff. That's how I was raised. I worked my butt off for this thing. I've put a lot of work into it, and I'm not gonna go out there and just beat it up. That's just not the case. So yes, my truck stays really nice, and that's just what it is. I've done a full paint correction and it is ceramic coated. I used an Adams graphene ceramic coating. It's not my favorite coating. I think this winter I'm gonna buff it all off and do a Shine Supply beadlock black coating. But for now, it looks really good. The paint is in great shape, besides some pinstripes, which I'll get rid of this winter or whatever, but it's in great shape. The shine is great. The hydrophobic properties are really good. But yeah, I do wanna upgrade to a little bit nicer coating. Then moving on to my window tint, I have really dark window tint. I like dark windows. My front windshield is 35%, and then the whole rest of the truck is 5%. It's black. You literally can't see it. It's black. I have been pulled over, Utah Highway Patrol. They don't love me, or maybe they do love me. I don't know. Maybe they're all just fans of the truck and they want to meet me. I don't know, but they like to stop me and say what's up. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it does look really good. Yes, it's illegal. I don't condone you doing it. I like dark windows, and that's all I'll say about that. All right, guys, moving on to the interior of my truck. This is how I control all my lights. This is an Oxbeam 8-gang switch panel. I just recently got this switch panel, and I will have a full video coming out about how I dialed in my engine bay setup with this, but I love this thing, the quality of it, the clicking, everything. It just feels really, really expensive, and I really like that. It's really nice, the programming and stuff that you can do. So yeah, looks really clean. This is just in here with like a mount from Etsy. It just like slides into this cubby. It doesn't fall out or anything, but obviously if you want to pull it out like I just did, you can. Next thing is I have these PRP seat covers. I love these seat covers. I cannot recommend them enough. I get a ton of questions about these. you can see how nice these are. They have no slack in them. They literally feel like OEM leather. A lot of people can't even tell that they are seat covers. If you stay tuned, I've been working with PRP and I have a brand new custom set of seats coming for this whole truck. So the whole interior of my truck is gonna change. I will have a full video coming out on those new seats. I'm really, really excited about it. It's gonna change the whole look. It's gonna be a whole new vibe. As you can see, they have their nice patches, great quality. Can't recommend these enough. I actually got these for a steal on Marketplace, but you can buy them brand new. You can do custom, you can do whatever you want with these. This is just something small, but underneath my back seat, I stick on a bunch of patches. Got a bunch of Tacoma Lifestyle, Diodynamics, just a bunch of patches. That's where I put them. They go all the way around the seats. And yeah, no, I don't do them on the headliner like some people do, but I think that's kind of cool. People open up my door and they think it's cool, so that's what I do. The other thing that I get a ton of questions about is this screen. I have a Sony 9500 ES head unit. It's a really big, I think it's 10.2 inch. I got this set up from Trail Grid Pro. They have a full plug and play kit that you can buy. Perfect head unit in my opinion. I love how it sticks out. It makes the whole truck feel very modern. My truck being a 2018 SR5, I had a tiny little screen, no CarPlay. It was awful. It felt like it was a 1995 truck. But now with this, it feels really updated and modern, and it's great. One thing that I did forget to mention is this truck does have an OTT tune. It is their 529 tune. One of the developer lives really close to me up here in Mill Creek. His name's Barrett, really awesome guy. He's always refreshed my tunes every time I up my tire size. I've had that tune on my truck for well over 2 years, and it's one of the best bang for your buck mods that you can do on these trucks. Even if you drive a bone stock Tacoma, I could not recommend enough getting that tune. It changes the way these trucks drive, the gas mileage, the shifting points, everything about it is just perfect. Anyway, that's gonna pretty much conclude my build walk around video today. I went through everything that I could possibly think of. I'm sure there's some things that I missed. There's a lot of little things and changes that I've made over time. You can check out my other social medias. Everything's Devs Yoda. I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok, so you can check those out. Please feel free to drop any comments, ask me questions about this stuff. I'll try to respond to the best I can. I really love this truck, and I love the community that I've built around this truck, and I love that you guys love this truck. I'm using love so much. I've really come to enjoy making content and sharing my build because it gives a lot of people inspiration, and I take inspiration from a lot of other people's builds, so I like to share my own content. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope the quality of this video is so much better than the first time, but I'm really proud of this truck. To me, it's the perfect daily driver Tacoma that you could go wheel, you could go camp, you could drive it to work. It does everything well, it looks really good, and I would like to think that I have not skipped any corner. If you guys like the content that you saw today, please subscribe to my channel. I have a bunch of videos coming out, the aux beam, new PRP seats, a bunch of cool stuff coming. So keep an eye out for those. You can follow my TikTok, I post a ton on there. Yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you like my truck as much as I do. And yeah, thank you guys. Peace out.